Greetings, men. Greetings, women. This video is going to basically talk about the One World Order Tower of Babel agenda. And I'm sure many of you have heard pretty much what it is. I'm going to basically talk about this and also give you my own experiences and insights into it. To understand the situation we've got in Western civilization, namely at European people in specific, is an agenda to basically slowly mix us out of existence. Or also, and by that they want to mix enough of us out of existence so that we lose our critical mass, our core bloodline, which is imperative for any race on the face of this earth. But the mixing of the races and the agenda that we're seeing in full force right now with the latest situation in Europe with the invaders stems from an idealism within international Jewry, within the New World Order, within the Bilderbergers, within the top elites who are complicit in it. And you know, not all of these are of the Jewish folk either. You know, the people that are doing this, fucking some of them are Europeans. You know, and they attend the Bilderberger conferences. They attend all the secret meetings, all the cronying around, all the fucking cooked politicians, you name it. And right down through the ranks it goes. Why is this? Why do they want to do it? What the fuck is the big deal? Or why is it such a big deal that we are targeted in this way? I'll try and explain why I think this is. When they talk in the books, in these holy books, these old texts, they're not talking specifically. They're not talking they're not talking necessarily in a literal manner. They're talking often in an allegorical manner, or even a in some ways a euphemism, or a euphemistic way. And the story of the Tower of Babel is that people of a certain region, often considered in the Middle East, all decided to pull together. They all decided to group themselves. They all decided to clung together and come very close and intermingle. And the way they speak about this is they all spoke one language, which in an allegorical way can also mean that you're all so close together and so tight-knit that you're going to be absolutely starting to mix each other's bloodlines up so much that you will be speaking the same language because you've mingled the same bloodline to a great extent. And they talk about, you know, that they had this aspiration to build a great big tower into the sky, a great big edifice, a great big method of reaching the heavens. Now, I don't believe that this was literally what they were fucking doing. I don't believe there was a bunch of fucking people in one big city piling bricks around each other, around and around, and up the tower went to the sky. I don't believe it's quite like that. Was that they actually basically were forced or moved into the same geographical region, or were pulling together different groups of people, and were basically trying to do the equivalent of what we see today with the whole multicultural melting pot, global melting pot, globalist scenarios that are playing out right now. That's what the Tower of Babel theory was. This is what it was. It wasn't some fucking thing about trying to reach heaven through a tower. It wasn't this. It was something a lot more under the compulsion of a tyrannical regime, and the regime was forcing people to fucking mix it up. They were forcing people to destroy the borders, destroy their heritage, destroy their culture. Also, they could try and mix every culture together, and as we all know, this doesn't freaking work. Just look at the history, just look at what it's like right now. Yet there are those that want this. There are those that want the fucking whole Tower of Babel thing to go down. And I've noticed this mostly comes from three elements. Fucking liberals, often misguided, people of a mixed race, And last but not least, Jews. Usually fucking really globalist Zionist Jews. Personally, from their own mouth, I have heard this. Okay? And this is something that is ingrained into their being. It's ingrained into their spiritual DNA to have the tribes to come together and merge and meld as one, you know. And one of these Jews who I knew for quite a few years told me this, and he didn't just tell me it. He fucking laid it down, and he laid it down in a most lucid fashion. You know, it wasn't just some throwaway remark. It wasn't some snide comment, although he had his moments when he made snide comments. Because although I wasn't fully racially aware, and I wasn't an alt-right nationalist, whatever you want to pigeonhole me as, I was aware that bloodlines and the core racial bloodline of a group should always be sacrosanct, should not be tampered with, especially in such a apocalyptic fashion that he was talking of. And I argued him to a standstill. One thing I've noticed as well about Jews, they thrive in a multicultural environment. They thrive in the big cities. They thrive where there's a lot of cosmopolitan doings afoot and a lot of drama, a lot of intrigue. They thrive in this environment. They fucking lap it up. They like the fact that there's an African and Asian, you know, all these different non-white people that they can sort of like work with and talk with and mingle with, and they really are turned on by it. It's like there's something genetic within them that they wanna have this. Not only do they want to have it, they want to spread it and they want to grow it. You know, they want to grow the actual multicultural vibe. They'd want it so that not only are the cities like this, they'd want the towns like it. They'd want the villages like that. They'd want the freaking remote areas to at least have it. And this percolates and spreads through society, through the media airwaves. All this screenwriting, all these movies, all this BS of their what turns them on is largely shown by this. Largely the Jews like the multicultural model of society, of civilization. You know, I mean, the BBC is fucking rampant with non-white people. The people who present the news. You rarely get two white European news presenters together on the same screen at once. It's normally a black guy, a white woman, a white guy, an Asian woman, and so on, and the combinations continue on and on and on. And on the shows and on some of the TV shows, I'll give you an example. I was watching one of the my BBC series. It was like a drama, some fucking drama, and they always seem to have it where the white people that are shown in it are normally old, or when they're young, they're normally shown to be having a love interest who is non-white, and sometimes encouraged to be going after a non-white. You know, I mean, it's all there. It's all there. It's all there. Anybody with eyes to see will see it, and it's always being shown. But getting further into it and further back a bit. Why is it that the Jews like to have this model? Why do they pursue it so much? Well, one of the reasons I believe it is, and at first I didn't believe this until I saw it with my own two eyes, and I went back in time in my mind because that's one of the things I'm blessed or cursed with. I've got a fucking memory that can remember things just like that. And not only can I remember things just like that, I can go back to it and analyse it with a critical mind and with an impartial view. And what I've seen is that they know that they can run rings around non-whites. And I don't mean that to demean people who aren't European, who are Asian, who are black, etc., etc. But it is a fact Jews rank in intelligence, if not side by side with the European folk, not very far lower than not many points lower than European folk. And the ones that are pushing this agenda, the international Jewry, knows that in a multicultural society where they have their folk out in the world, they can thrive in that environment. They can thrive in the big cities. They can thrive with all these things. We don't thrive quite as well. We can tolerate it. We can live among it. We can survive within it. But we're not really thriving within a multicultural big city society. Big cities, no problem. The white man can make his way in the world in the big cities. Not everyone wants that. Some do, some don't. But when it comes to the whole, the New World Order, one of the New World Order, fucking Jew World Order, international Jewry, they, you know, and I've even heard the snide comments when I used to move with the Jews, because I used to, and although I was at that time very pro-Jewish, I'm not anti-Jewish. Even now I'm not anti-Jewish, but I'm not really pro-Jewish now. Back then I was. And with this memory that I go back on and I see there's snide comments. Like, I could give you an example. There was a young kid overseas in a non-white country, and he obviously didn't have any experience with women. You know, he was probably still a virgin. The Jew I was in the company of, he started making snide comments about, oh yeah, you know, he's going to start to go out and start dating the local girl. You know, he's going to be introduced to the local young girls to get acquainted with them. And when he was saying this, he wasn't sort of saying it in a jovial manner. He was saying it in a really snidey manner, almost to himself, but so I could hear him. And then I thought to myself, what a weird thing to say. You know, when you get these instances happening, and you think to yourself, well, that's weird. It's because it's alien. Because it's alien to us. This is not alien to them. This is fucking what turns them on. To see us fucking become a tiny, teeny minority, and then become the top of the fucking tree, you know, that turns them on. And I'm talking about international Jewry here. I'm not talking about every man jack fucking child of the Jews, right? But I am telling you, and I am saying, the international Jew, the international Jewry, is in for all that, you know. It's really interesting right now because we're seeing a very slow awakening, a very slow dawning on many people now. They're starting to wake up and see through the veil, the curtains losing its opaqueness. It's starting to become translucent, and they're starting to look through and see what the real deal is. I mean, you know, who wouldn't see what it really is? I mean, there's a fucking invasion going on in Europe. That is a freaking invasion. People I'm speaking to online, these things we're seeing in the news. There's an invasion. And it's part of the whole it's the globalist agenda. George Soros is up to his hilt in it. Angelina Merkel is complicit in it. There's talk whether Angelina Merkel is part of international Jewry, bloodline international Jewry, or just a crony in him. She certainly was a communist. She certainly was part of the whole East German communist thing. So they had that angle of it formed. You've got all these organisations that are actually aiding and abetting the enemy. They're aiding and abetting the enemy. You hear these fucking anti-white, some would call them race traitors, going out to fucking the camps, the so-called refugee camps in Calais, the jungle as they call it. Quite an apt name. They got that one right, I think. And they are going out there and getting up to shenanigans. This is, you know, giving succour to the enemy. They do it fucking to the hilt. In a way, you know, maybe it's a good thing that at least it's happened so soon, because there was a very big fear not so many years ago where people were saying, well, if it stays so subtle and it's so gradual, the frog's going to stay in the pot forever and get boiled, or stay in the pot a lot longer and get boiled alive. I think, and some others have said this in our circles and beyond, the international Jewry and its other associates have moved too fast. It's almost like they've created the golem too quickly, and the golems are going a bit out of control and smashing shit up too much, so people are starting to hear it more and notice it more and speaking out about it more. And this is partly why Donald Trump stands a good chance of being elected. This is another element, you know. It cannot be understated that if Donald Trump does get elected, it was partly because white people have woken up, or more white people are waking up than would have woken up had there been a lot more slowness to it. Cast your mind back to the 1990s. That was a shit decade. I, in my opinion, it was a fucking crap decade. It was not very much good came out of the 1990s. In fact, it was like the hangover of the 1980s and the 70s. But that's when the, you know, international finance, international Jewry, Zionism, all this, that's when it started to get a bit overconfident, and it sort of tapered up a bit, you know, it came too high. The tower was built too quick. They tried to build the tower too quick. Make no mistake though, it's still going to be a tough next few decades. The next decade is going to be an absolute paramount importance for Western civilization. There is going to be, the genie isn't going back in the bottle now, you know. They can try and attack the messengers, they can try and attack the methods of communication, but I think it's gotten too big now. Largely thanks to the internet and independent means of communication away from mainstream media, people are a lot more clued in. I mean, it's like one of the old boy nationalists was saying at London Forum. He was saying, you know, before the internet, the only way you could try and get unbiased books about history in Britain and in Europe, you'd have to order them from America under the table, or go to Ireland, the Republic of Ireland that is, and get the materials and literature there. But now it's almost undreamed of, the resource, the information resource we've got right now. The fact that I am doing this video going out to you folks, other people are doing videos like this going out onto the internet. People with, you know, the Ramsey Pauls, the Golden Ones, the Murdochs, the Daily Shower, that guy who just rambles for hours but tells it like it is, and many others like this. We're all making our voices heard, and most important of all is the quiet ones, the shy ones, the people who don't want to rock the boat, but they want to listen, they want to hear, they want to know what's going on without saying that they're like nationalist, or listening to being of a more ancestral slant